So, good morning, team. I hope you can be able to hear me. Um, you can switch on your mic. You can type on the chat. You can send an emoji. Just you can raise your hand, just to let me know that I can actually, you were actually able to hear me. I'm audible enough. Venus, that's okay. Um, okay, Mogi, that's also okay. Beatrice, yeah, that's cool. So you can hear me. That's excellent. Now. Just one rule that I want to have: if you are going to be having online classes, kindly try and uh, and join the class early enough so that we don't disrupt others as we are going on. Okay, so just a polite request. So you can see right now I'm having to admit so many people rather than actually conducting the class itself. So please join on time so that you don't disrupt the others. Okay. If it is 11, by 11 or 5 at latest, make sure you have joined so that at least we don't disrupt the others. So welcome to Software Design Lab. So here we're going to see how we can actually create applications using the things that you have learned. I'm sure you've learned about HTML and CSS and JavaScript and SQL and that kind of a thing. So I want us to be able to see how we can be able to take all those things and come up with a real world application. Now, for purposes of this lab, I'm going to take an existing application. Then that is what we're going to replicate, so that you're able to see the process that they undertook to actually come up with such a solution. So I'll share my screen. Are you able to see my screen? Okay, Venus. Okay, that's okay. So if you're able to see my screen, that's awesome. So we're going to look at this website called expedia.com. So, and specifically, I want us to focus on the flights part, this flights part over here. So this is what I want us to focus on. So in short, I want us to be able to recreate this part of the application. Maybe not the whole of it because there's a lot of text here that we don't need, but majorly on how we can organize for flights, how we can do whether it's one way or round trip or multi-city, how we can be able to, maybe I can say I want to leave from Nairobi, then to Mombasa, something like that. Then I'll give a date. Then it's either one way or round trip. So you can see, and I can specify the date of travel, maybe say there. Then how many people are traveling, I can also specify that, and the cabin class, I can also specify that. So you can see when I search that, it's going to search, and of course, it's going to give me flights that are available. I know this one might not be tenable because I don't have Mombasa in. Yeah, okay, there are actually some. So you can see when I search, I'm able to get some results. I have KQs, believing on this date, arriving on this date. Takes 1 hour, it's non-stop. This is how much they're going to charge me, and so forth and so forth. So generally, this is what I want us to be able to recreate. Now, it looks like a very simple solution, but as you're going to see, this is actually a very, very complex problem that even most people are not able to resolve. So what we're going to do first of all is we have already identified several things. So if I come back again, I'll just go back um, to Expedia, then flight. So I want you to notice a few things over here. When I click on living from and I type something like Nairobi, you will see that Nairobi, something like that. You will see that it gives me the airports that we have in Nairobi. We have Jomo Kenyatta National Airport and we have Wilson Airport. The city is Nairobi, right? And of course, the country is Kenya. So we have that. So first things first, when we want to design our database, we have to come up with entities. So I've already seen that I have an entity called Nairobi. I have an entity called Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and I also have something like Wilson Airport. So I have city, airport, and country. So if I was to do my database, so I'll open Excel file over here. Or maybe not use Excel, but I can use something like I can use something like Lucid app, Lucid.app. Let me use Lucid, LUCID. You can use any database tool that you feel is reasonable. So I'll come to new here and I'll say Lucid Chat blank document. Well, it's just showing me a few shortcuts as it's loading. So let me just give it some time. So when I come here, I want to draw my database here. I want to design my database from here. So database is all about, we start with entities. Entities are things that we store data about. So I'll come to more shapes here and I'll say, I'm searching for enterprise. It's called ERD, entity relationship. This one, I want this one. So I'll use that. So here, I'll pick an entity element here like that. I'll put control 0 so that it becomes a little bit bigger. So here, first of all, I want to store data about country, right? So on the country, I'll put country ID and country name. So I don't need any other field other than those two, so I'll remove the last one. So this is my first entity, country and country name. Do I need any other entity? Yes, I might need another entity. I need cities because if we look at this operation here, we say I have Kenya, which is the country, I have Nairobi, which is the city, and I have Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, which is the airport itself. So I have at least three entities from here that I need to store data about. So I've already dealt with country. Then next, I'll come and say I have another relation entity over here, and this other entity is going to be city, isn't it? So city, I will have city ID, I will have city name, and I'll have which country that city belongs to. So one country, one city can be in only one country. Okay. So a city like Nairobi can only be in Kenya. It cannot be in Kenya and at the same time it is in Uganda. It can only be in one country. Though I know somebody will tell me Istanbul is between Turkey and Iran, right? So Istanbul is in two continents. One part is in Europe, one part is in Asia. So that is the only exception, but generally Istanbul is considered a city in um, um, uh, uh, where is Istanbul? Over there, wherever it is. Istanbul is a city in Europe more than it is in Asia, even though it is on the border. So one city can only belong to one country. Now, because I know one city can belong to one country, what I will do here is this country ID and this country ID are related. So I'm going to place my mouse pointer over here on this dot. Then I'll just drag it. Sorry, this dot so that it's blue. It should be blue like that. When it is blue, then I can just drag it and bring it here. So you can now see one country can have as many cities as possible. So I have an entity called country, an entity called city. Now I need to create another entity. As we have looked into our application, we now have the airport over here. Okay. So I'll come back and add another entity over here, and I'll call this entity airport. Airports. So on airports, as you can see, this airport has the city has a name. Actually, the airport has a name which is NBO, and then of course where it's located. So if I looked at something like Nairobi, you'll see Wilson also has a code WIL, right? So if I was talking about Mombasa, sorry, Mombasa, so you can see Mombasa is MBA, More International Airport, right? So when I'm designing my airports, I'll have the airport ID. Then I'll have the airport code, that NBO, WIL, and so on and so on. Then I'll have airport name. Then of course I need to add a row below here. So I need to insert a row below. Then I'll call it city ID, because each airport has to be in a certain city. As you can see, all the airports are within a city. So Mombasa International Airport is in Mombasa City in Kenya, right? Something of the sort, right? So we need to be able to capture that correctly. So again, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pick this city ID, come here, make sure that my focus is blue, make sure my focus is blue, like that. Then I will connect it to this city ID over here, like that. Why is it not locking? It should have locked. Okay, something like that. So this city ID can, one city can have as many airports as possible, right? So far we have three entities that we have captured based on this first parameter alone, where we are coming from. Then you can see also we have the types of bookings. So there's a booking time called round trip, which means you can go and come back. There's a type of booking called one way, which means you just go and you stay. Then there's a type of booking called multi-city, which means you can move from one city to another. Maybe I want to go to Dubai, but I want to pass by Morocco, for example. That's going to be multi-city. So I want to move from Nairobi to Morocco to Dubai. So I can actually search a flight in that particular order. So again, we also need to capture data as far as booking types is concerned. So I'll come here again and I'll add an entity and I'll call it booking types. Booking type, right? Booking type, like that. Well, I like using, okay, that's okay. I need to put capital A here. Booking type, like that. So for booking type, I have type ID, then I have type name, isn't it? So here I'll just, this is a lookup table where I just want to be able to store as many details on booking as possible. Then besides the booking type, if you come back to this page, you'll see we also have the type the booking class. So you can see here I have the booking class here. I have economy, premium economy, business class, first class. So I have the booking class. So I also need information about booking class. Okay, so I'll come here and I'll again add an entity and I'll call it booking class. Booking class. So I have the class ID and I also have the class name. Okay, so I don't need the last one. Now the other thing I also saw that when I was looking at the search, I saw that we had the airline. So, for example, if I say I want to leave from Mombasa to Nairobi and I leave everything else and I search, you will see that when I search, um, let it just finish searching. So you can see I have the airline over here, KQ. I have the time, I have the flight number, I have the flight duration, I have the value that is being typed for that flight, and so forth and so forth. So in short, there is a lot of details that I have. So in short, first and foremost, I have the details as far as the airline is concerned. So I'll come here and I'll now add another entity and I'll call it airline. Okay. So this airline has an airline ID. There's the airline name. Then there's the airline. logo. At least those three sets of data I've been able to get from these search results over here. So there's Kenya Airways, there is the logo of Kenya Airways, and of course now I've introduced the ID of the airline. Now, besides the airline, the other thing I've noticed is that I have flights. So flights, we're going to look at it from the concept um, of supply. Every time you do something that is a booking, there is usually some level of supply. So what happens is when the supply has been exhausted, then no bookings can happen further. So in short, what will happen is airlines will have flights, and flights will have booking classes. So the booking classes will have the number of seats, then that is going to form the supply. Then from there, we're going to have bookings based on those supply entities. Then from there, we can be able to close the supply. So for airline, the other thing we're going to do is we can now create the supply. So for the supply, we'll divide it into two tables. We're going to call them first of all flights. So flights will have the flight ID, we'll have the airline ID, then we'll also have the flight number. Then we can insert a row below. I can insert another row below because I know I need more than three, another row below. So beside the flight number, I can have departure, city, then there is also destination city, where it's going. Okay. Then we also have besides flight and we have departure date. Let me just call it departure time because it's date and time. Well, I think that is okay. That should be able to do. Now, why is this important? This is important because it's just going to tell us which flights are available. KQ has how many flights? If you come here, you'll find that KQ has so many flights. There's this flight, there's this flight, there's 420, there's 950, there's 905, there's 530, there's 245. So all of them are different flights altogether. So you can put the duration and the type. So I can come and insert again, insert row below. Duration of the flight in hours, and so forth and so forth. So that is the flight. Now we can have another entity, now the flight classes. Because for each flight, I'll have first class, economy, premium, and so forth and so forth. So what I'm going to do is another entity here, down here somewhere. Then I'll call it flight classes. So here I'll have the flight ID. So I'll have ID here, flight class ID. For every table, you need to have an ID, flight class ID, then flight ID, then class ID, or rather I can say booking type ID, not booking type but booking class, booking class ID. Then I can go ahead and insert another field here. After the booking class ID, I'll have number of seats for that booking class because that's a supply. This is actually the supply. Then from there, we'll have the price, unit price. Then I can have maybe the currency that they are charging. So here I can have currency ID. So these flight classes, the flight will just give me the details of the flight number, the airline offering the flight, where it's coming from, where it's going, when it's going to depart, and of course how long the flight is going to take. Okay, and of course with the type, is it a non-stop flight or it has multiple stops, which means it can be able to be connected to multiple it can connect to multiple cities. Okay, so we have the flight classes now. Then after that, now we have the bookings. Now people can book once we have the supply, because these two are going to give me supply. These two here are going to give me the supply because I know the flight and the number of seats that are available. Then now people can be able to do the booking. So I'll come here and I'll say now people can do the booking. So I can say flight booking. So for the flight booking, I'll need to know the flight ID. Okay, I can have the booking ID. Then I'll have the flight ID. I'll have the booking date, the date the booking was done, amongst others, right? Then after the flight booking, I'll have the flight booking classes because somebody can book one flight and they can book for multiple categories. So they can pick first class. I'm assuming a family is traveling to Mombasa. We have two adults and we have five children. So the adults can fly first class, then the children can fly economy. So when doing the flight booking, we can have the flight booking classes so that we know for this particular booking what classes have they picked as far as the flight is concerned, and how many seats have they picked, so that now we can be able to go ahead and register the passengers. So again, I'll put here, I'll click that, bring it in the corner here somewhere. This is how you do your database design before you even start writing anything on your application. So here I will have the flight booking classes, flight booking classes. I can make it a little bit bigger, sorry, something like that. So for the flight booking classes, I'll have the ID over here. Then I'll have the booking ID. Then I'll have the class ID, booking class ID. Then I also have the number of seats that they're booking for that. So I'll insert below number of seats. So here they can lock the price again. So I can have insert row below unit price and currency, and maybe payment method for that. Well, the payment method can be one for the flight booking, so the payment method can actually be here. So below payment method ID, like that. So that's the booking class. Then after that, then we need the details of the passengers. Okay. So after this, we need the details of the passengers. So flight booking passengers. So I'll come again, add an entity here, call it flight booking passengers. So flight booking passengers. So here I'll have the booking class ID. So I'll put here there's an ID. It has passenger booking ID, passenger booking ID. Then we have the booking class ID. Then I have ID document. Then after ID document we have ID document number. Then we have the first name, middle name, last name, and the age. So below. So we have first name. We also have middle name below. So I have first name. So here, sorry, middle name. Then I can have, sorry, last name and gender. below, gender and date of birth. Okay, so that should be able to tell us, sorry, that should be able to tell us, that should be able to tell us a bit about the passenger. So the only other thing we need are identification documents because it's a lookup table. We need to know are you using a passport or an ID or a birth certificate, right? So that's an identification document. If you're a minor, less than 5 years old, maybe you can use 1 year old, you can use birth certificate. If you are between 1 and 5 years, you can use your passport. If you're above 18, you can either use your national ID or your passport, depending on where you're traveling. If it is within the country, you can just use your national ID and birth certificate. But if you're traveling outside the country, then you must definitely use a passport. So that's why we need to be able to keep that. So I just introduced two other tables over here. So I'll bring here, I'll say payment methods. So method ID and method name. Well, you can specify whether it's the default, but that's not necessary because on the airline, since you're going to be dealing with multiple nationalities, you might want to leave it at that. Then we can come again and add another one called registration documents or travel documents. So for the travel documents, we have document ID, document name. But this document also have expiry, so document expires. So that now when somebody is providing the document, they should tell us the expiry date. So basically what I have here will allow me to now be able to comprehensively say that I have a complete database. So the only thing that is left for me at this point is now to just be able to um, come and start saying now, I want to be able to form all the relationships. So I had already started forming the relationships as you can see over here. So let's just now formalize this relationship. So I can have this airline ID here, this airline ID here. I want it to connect to this airline ID here, like that. Okay. Then you can press Control 0. I want this flight ID to connect to this flight over here. So I'll come here, pick this flight ID. You need a bit of precision, or you can make it slightly bigger. Then I want to connect that flight ID to this flight ID over here, like that. Then I move inside a bit. Then I also want to connect this flight ID, this one. I also want to connect it to this flight ID over here. Okay. So don't worry, I'll arrange them later so that they don't cross each other, like that. They need to look neat so they don't cross each other. When we are doing the booking, we have the classes for booking. So we need to come back here. Then this booking class and this booking class should be the same. So I'll pick this class ID. This class ID, I connect it to this class ID over there. Again, as you can see, my tables are not going to be looking really nice, so I'll have to move them up and down so they don't, you know, they don't overlap like that. Well, I'll fix that. So then, when it comes to booking, there's also the booking type. Is it one-way return or continuous? So when it comes to booking over here, we should have the booking type. So here I'll need to add booking type. You can see even me, I make mistakes sometimes. So I can just scroll this one downwards, make this one appear somewhere in the middle here, then add another column here, insert below. So the booking type ID, is it one-way return or booking type ID or multi-city? So this booking type here will connect to this type ID over here, and it's the other way around. It's the other way around. So I start from booking type ID here, then I come to this booking type ID over here. Well, I can move this thing this other side like that. It certainly makes sense this way. So again, I can, what else can I do in terms of these relationships? I need to connect everything, by the way. So again, um, this booking ID, sorry, this booking ID connects to this booking ID over here. This booking class ID connects to this booking class over here. It's the other way around. I can actually invert, okay. I can actually invert it like that. You don't need to delete it. Then this booking class, this booking class here, is connected to this booking class over here. Then this ID, document ID, this document ID is connected to this document ID over here. Again, make sure it is plus. Then like that. Then payment method, this payment method here is related to this payment method over here. Like that. So I want to believe everything is connected. I want to believe everything is connected. So probably what we want to do is just we can change line colors, as you can see over here. We can be able to have different widths and heights and all that kind of stuff. So the general idea is I'll just press Control 0 so that it fills up my page. Once I have that, I can try to determine which items go where. Like I can take this booking because it's only one type. I can bring it inside here. Then I can bring this one up here. So it's just arranging them so that now they start making sense. Let me see if I can auto arrange them. Can I? No, I can't auto arrange them here. But yeah, it certainly makes some sense as to how we can be able to add. So I have these ones. Let me see. At 100%, which table is this one can come here. It's only one. Then I can form this relationship directly on this side like that. It isn't much. Then these payments, it doesn't look nice there. But that's not the point, because what we want to do is just to make sure that it is readable enough. If we give it to somebody, they can be able to make sense out of it. That's what's important for most of these applications. So what I'm going to do is once I'm done with that, I'll simply press Control 0. Then I have this entity relationship diagram. This is actually my database design. And you can see everything is connected with everything as far as my app as far as how my app would connect is concerned. So I can have this one here, and I can have these ones on this other side. Does that look nicer? No, it doesn't. So I guess I just leave it at that. But you're able to see at least how each and every person is connected to this data over here. So this one, just connect it like that. Or you can make this other side. No, I think this other side is better. Yeah, I think the side is better. So let's just leave it at that. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I think we can leave it at that. So just move it up a bit, left here. Something of that sort. So once I have this in place, then I can give the person who is actually implementing my system to be able to draft this database as is. So this is how we design our entity relationship diagram. We have identified all the entities we have. We have country, we have city, we have airports, we have payment methods, we have booking classes, we have airlines, flights, flight booking classes, we have booking types, flight classes, passenger details, travel documents, and so forth and so forth. And all these things I have basically obtained from the data that we have over here. I've just established it from the flight details that we are collecting. This is how much information we need uh, as far as the flight database is concerned. It might not be necessarily the same, but it gives us an idea of how we can actually implement this. So I'll just give this a name here. I'll call it Expedia Flight ERD. Then I'll press enter. So now it has a name. So if I go to my dashboard, I should be able to see it. Now, once you have it like this, then you need to share it with somebody. So for you to share it with somebody, you might want to export it and print as PDF. How do you export it? You will come to actually let me try auto layout. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. This auto layout you can see has tried to organize it for me very, very nicely so that now everything is together. You can see airline is there with flights and flight classes and bookings, and now it looks much, much neater compared to how I had organized it. Okay, so again, you can come to arrange here, then auto layout, then you can arrange on hierarchy. It will just be able to arrange it from top to bottom and try to make it as presentable as possible. Now, I can see there are some relationships that are not there because when I'm talking about flights, I'm supposed to specify where the flights are coming from. Okay, so when I have these flights, there's the departure city, which comes from city ID. This one, I forgot that one. It should come all the way to here. Then the destination city should also come to this destination city over here. Okay, then I have the departure airport. The departure airport. I'm also supposed to put here the departure airport. So insert row below departure airport ID. departure airport ID. So if I know the airport, then definitely I would have known the city. So probably I might not need the departure city. So once I had if I had the airport, where are the airports? They're here. So if I have this airport, so I'll just pick that. Then I'll just put it under that will go to the airport ID over here. So again, I can arrange on hierarchy. So it will try to rearrange it so that now you can see everything is now looking up nice together. So I don't need to everything is now connected to everything else. So this is actually how you design your database. This is the design. It's like a blueprint. When you're designing a house, you do a blueprint for the house, the floor plan. Then the floor plan is what is going to be used to build a house. So when you're doing our software lab, we start with the database where the data is going to be stored. So based on where the data is going to be stored, we know what kind of data we need to store. Then now we can design our database. Then from the database, we can design our user interface and everything that is connected between the two elements. So that's why this is important. Now, once you have arranged it nicely like that, the next thing you need to do is to export this one so that now it can be shared to someone. You can actually share it here directly to someone. Or you might necessarily generate it in a PDF, then share with somebody the PDF that was generated. I like sharing them as PDF, so you'll come to File here, then you'll say Print. Okay, then it'll give you this print preview over here. You can see it has tried to fit it on a page nicely. So I can say Print. It will print for you. Then of course it will open for you the window print preview, which is over here, to allow you to select the printer for which to print. Okay, so here I can say I want to print on PDF, then I just say print. It will be able to print it for me. So I'll just call it here Expedia Flight ERD. Then save it. It should be able to generate it. And now, as you can see, I can make it landscape. Actually, it's on my screen. You can see I only have one page. If I printed it out, it's much easier to put landscape. Orientation, do I have orientation here? Window orientation, do I have orientation? No. Do I have orientation? Okay, it looks like I don't have orientation here, but I can right click and say rotate clockwise. Yeah, so you can see from here, now it's reading nicely. I have my airline details, flight details, country details, city details, airport details, flight classes, flights and flight classes, booking classes, payment methods, booking types, flight bookings, flight booking classes, travel documents, and of course, flight booking passengers. So this would form how my database would be organized. And of course, now this is what you share with the person who's there in the database. They are able to see how everything is related to everything. Any question up to that point? So I'll just go back to my um, what do you call it? My meeting. Then, if there are any questions to be asked, you can ask the question before we move to the next phase. Remember, this is how you're going to design even your project as you're doing your project B. When it comes to database design, this is exactly how you'll design your database, and this is exactly the kind of document you're going to share with inside the documentation just to show how you have arrived at your database. Kuna swali mpaka hapo? Any question up to that point? You can raise your hand. You can put it on the comment section. you can also just switch on your mic and ask for permission to speak. Okay, so okay, that's fine. If there's no question, then I think the next thing to do is just to do what we call the data dictionary. So this is an ERD or an entity relationship diagram, as you can see. Now from the ERD, we need to now start coming up with how this data is going to be stored and the sample data that can be used for this kind of an application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch Excel over here. I'm going to create a new workbook. Then I'm going to say this here is my data dictionary. So what happens in the data dictionary? What you're going to do in the data dictionary, you're going to have at least five columns. The first one will be table name. You'll have the name of the table over there. You'll have column name. You'll have data type, precision, precision, the sample data, and narration. Any narrative that you'd like to have. So it will take this kind of a format. So when you're talking about a data dictionary, it takes this kind of a format. So I'll make this one in bold. This one's also in bold. Then from here, I'll have column name. Let's talk about a table called city first of all. Let's start with country. So I'll have column name is country ID, country name, right? The relative country name is variable character. The position is 50. The country ID is integer. The position is maybe say 18. Sample data is 1. Sample data here is Kenya. Narration here, this is primary key. Something of the sort. So this is one table. So I can add lines to it like that. So that's one table called country. Then we have another table called cities. So for cities, we have column name, data type, precision, sample data. Then of course narration. So from here, city, we have city ID. We also have city name. We also have country ID. So city ID is integer. Can give you the precision of 18. Maybe that's one. City name is maybe say Nairobi. Precision is it's well no, this is data type Warakar 50 or 100. Sample is Nairobi. Then again, so I'll make that one bold. I'll make these other ones bold. Sorry. Then I'll add lines to this. So you can see, so here I'll simply say this is integer, precision of 18. Sample data is 1. And I'll say let's it's foreign key to country table. Something like that. So you can continually do this. So I have the country, I have cities, and I can list all my tables at the bottom over here. So that is how you come up with the data dictionary. So the purpose for today's class was for us to be able to understand how we actually develop an ERD. So we can take our solution, we can identify all our entities. Then from our entities, we can identify the data that we need to capture as far as those entities are concerned. Then from the entities, now we generate an ERD. Then from the ERD, we come up with a data dictionary, which is something similar to what I have shown you over here. So the task that I would request you to do is to design your own flight database and keep in mind the things that I've mentioned. Create an ERD and create a data dictionary. Then share that data with me. So that is the task that I want you to do between now and probably the it is in the afternoon. You can be able to take your time and try to achieve whatever it is that I've mentioned so that you can be able to submit this for marking. When we meet next, we're going to see how to convert this one now into an actual database from where now we can be able to start writing our code and developing our user interface as far as the Expedia app is concerned. So these are the two tasks I expect you to provide. Now, I've recorded this video and I'm going to make it available in a short while. So kindly, if there's anything that you've not understood, review the video. It's just about an hour and a half at most, I think. Just review the video, and if you have not understood anything, you can watch it over and over again, but you can also reach out to me in the event that you need assistance for areas that you've not understood. Is that clear? So I'll just go back to my meeting to see if there is anything that is pending over there. Now, these people are coming once the class has ended. I don't know what the intention is, but nonetheless, that is the situation. Any question or comment? Okay. If there's none, then I think I'll stop at that. I will share the video and the materials that I've used with the class rep for purposes of your review in the event that you need to capture anything. Thank you and have a blessed afternoon. We will keep in touch.